Hello and welcome to the history of Star Wars. This is Omega Ordained coming at you with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. And here we go. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber was the first lightsaber constructed by Luke Skywalker and the second one he owned. The weapon's design was based on schematics found in his mentor's hut on Tatooine. While the final product remained largely faithful to these designs, Luke simplified the weapon considerably, as this was his first attempt at constructing a lightsaber. For instance, he decided to use only one crystal for his lightsaber as opposed to the ideal 3 to allow for a fully adjustable blade. Luke was able to gather most of the parts he required to build his weapon from various vendors in the city of Mos Eisley, including a high-energy reflector cup, power cells, and a focusing lens. However, Luke was unable to obtain one vital component that would bring the whole project together: the lightsaber crystal itself. In the years following the Galactic Empire's establishment in 19 BBY, great efforts were taken to expunge the last remaining resources of the fallen Jedi Order from the galaxy. One of these measures was the banning of all crystals capable of being used in the construction of lightsabers, and shutting down the sites that possessed these crystals. Possessing lightsabers was also outlawed, with the exception of Palpatine himself, Darth Vader, and the Emperor's shadow guards. Others who possessed lightsabers collected them as trophies from fallen Jedi. Due to this, Luke was forced to fabricate his own green synthetic lightsaber crystal, utilizing a small blast furnace and a book of instructions found within his home of his fallen master on Tatooine. For many days, Luke labored over the components, checking and then rechecking the instructions many times, taking no shortcuts. Over a month after he first began, the weapon was still not complete. Luke had to interrupt his work on the project while he and his friends mounted an ultimately unsuccessful rescue for Han Solo from the bounty hunter Boba Fett's custody on the planet Gaul. Returning to Tatooine, Luke resumed his work on the weapon, cutting and shaving the unrefined crystal he had created into a proper, multifaceted lightsaber jewel. He likewise based his design on Ben Kenobi's lightsaber in memory of his mentor. When Luke Skywalker first ignited the weapon, it functioned perfectly. The green blade emitted no heat, signifying that the internal superconductors were working properly, and it sheared through a wrist-thick rock spire with no difficulty. Luke also noted that the weapon possessed superior balance to Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, possibly as a result of using a synthetic crystal. The lightsaber made a distinctive snap-hiss sound when activated, which was a different sound than that emitted by his father's weapon. In 3 ABY, the construction of his Jedi weapon gave the confidence Luke Skywalker needed to progress in his studies, as he advanced towards becoming a Jedi Knight. A year later, the young Jedi used the weapon during the desperate rescue of his friends from Jabba the Hutt's hands on Tatooine. On the moon's surface of Endor, he used it to deflect the blaster fire from a speeder and then sliced the speeder's steering vane. Aboard the second Death Star, Luke used his lightsaber during his final confrontation with Darth Vader. When Palpatine was inspecting the lightsaber, he claimed that the design was much like his father's. At the climax of the duel with Vader, as soon as he stood with the weapon leveled at his father's throat, Luke refused to give in to Palpatine's goading to slay his father and submit to the dark side of the Force, shutting his lightsaber off and hurling the weapon aside. Luke would later retrieve his lightsaber after being rescued by his redeemed father from the Galactic Emperor's barrage of Force lightning, wearing the weapon at the Rebel Alliance's victory celebration on Endor. Luke would go on to wield his lightsaber in the years following the Battle of Endor, seeing repeated use. The weapon was at his side as Luke oversaw the rebirth of the Jedi Order and repeated conflicts that followed, including struggles against the Imperial Remnant. Luke would go on to craft several more lightsabers in his lifetime, including a short-bladed version called a Shoto and a standard red-bladed lightsaber for his sister. At some point prior to 35 ABY, Luke constructed a backup lightsaber that was nearly identical to his. The backup weapon was stored inside R2-D2, seeing use after his primary lightsaber was confiscated. Luke later retrieved his original weapon. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Star Wars. Special thanks to Wikipedia and its contributors for all information you heard today. Very special thanks to my Patreons and to Royalty Free Tube for this fantastic background. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, join the channel, join us on Patreon. Whatever you can do to help the channel grow, we appreciate. Thank you. and have a great day. Bye-bye.